All right, so what I want to look at is opening materials and taking notes in iTunes University. iTunes University is very versatile. It gives you a lot of options as far as note taking and the ability to use a lot of different information and send it to students. And it's really one of the best distribution methods that you can use in your classroom. So first things first, I want to pick one of my iTunes U courses, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this one on the moons as an example here. And notice that I opened up default into my notes section. Across the bottom here, you can tell which tab you're on. So if I wanted to see the information about my course, I'd click there. If I want to find the posts, in this case, that's what I want to work with, I'd go there. If I wanted to look at my notes, I'd click on that one. And then lastly, my materials. This is an interesting page because this is all of the materials that can be used in this course. And you can see this course is made up of quite a few different pieces of information, and it's got a variety of different stuff. It's got an audio file, there are 10 videos, there's 4 different books, and a web link that are all used within this course. And that can all be found by just clicking on the Materials tab. This is also a thing to make note of. If you're looking for great information for your courses, one of the things you can do is go out and find an iTunes U course that exists that already is on your subject. Use those materials to populate into your own course. You'll find that there's a lot of great information there that you could use in the building and creation of your own course. Let's go ahead and go into posts though, because I want to talk about making notes and also about opening your information. So in your posts here, some of the posts are strictly just pieces of text, and that's all they are. Other posts have an assignment attached to them, like this one right here. And so this post has got some information, and it's even asking some questions, and then below it, it has a link to open some sort of content. And if it is still living up in the cloud, so if it still is on the Apple server and it does not live on this iPad, you will get this little cloud icon that I'm pointing to right now with my mouse button, and that means that if you click on that, you can download it from the cloud and put it directly onto this device. Now the advantage of that is that once I've clicked that button and it actually downloads this material to this device, it lives on the iPad, meaning I do not need the internet to access that particular piece of information, which is very, very handy. So there's a variety of types out there. You can see the video file, the book file. There's also, you'll see this one right here. This is an audio file. Different types of files. Some are PDFs, could be a web link. But let's go ahead and open up a book and look at the process of taking notes in that book. So here I have a book. It says read chapter 7 of Moon Rocks and complete the activity. And if I click on this, it might give me some more information. Maybe it's telling me some specific things to learn in that chapter. When I click on it, an interesting thing happens. We actually are opened up into our iTunes iBooks library. And I'm going to show you right here. So when I opened that book from that iTunes U course, it actually opened me up into iBooks. And so when I click back on it, I am opened up directly to chapter 7 of my iBook, and it even opened me up to the first page. And you see here I've already taken a sample note, and I'm going to show you how I did that right now. So I would be opened exactly to the page. I could read my book just like normal. Let's say I found something that is very important. I'm supposed to be making a note of this information because it's going to be on a test. I can actually take my hand and I can just push down and hold my finger and highlight a section of text. And once I've highlighted that section of text, that is actually a highlighted note that will be added into the note section of the iTunes U course. So it already lives there. However, I might want to add some additional information. So if I tap anywhere on the highlighted information, I get the choice of changing maybe the color of my note. Maybe I color-coded notes into different categories. And I also have this option to add a little sticky note essentially to that piece of highlighted text. So this is where I could add something maybe that helps me understand what this section is highlighted for. So this information will be on a test. So there we go. I typed that in. So that information will be on a test. So that's why it was important to me. I click it, and I now want you to notice that we have our highlighted text, but we also have a nice little icon here in the left-hand side that tells me I also made a note about that highlighted text. So if I tap on that little tiny square over there, it will then pop up the note, and I will have the opportunity of having more information. Now, that in itself is fine. So when I open this book, those notes exist there. But also, iTunes University has kept all of my notes organized for me in one tab called Notes. And when I click on that tab, this is going to be all of the notes that I have made in my course. And you'll see right up here at the top is the note that we just made, and it says this information will be on the test, and it gives me the highlighted section. It also gives me the option to view that note in iBooks. So here's the trick as a teacher. If you're clever and you build your courses in such a way that you have information that they're taking notes on that would be on a test, this note section can essentially become a study guide, because everything that they've highlighted is stuff that's very, very important. It might be on an exam. They would be able to go through here and assimilate that information and be able to do pretty well with it. So this is kind of how the basics of iTunes U works for taking notes and also for opening information. It'll make a little more sense when you get to the teacher web interface, because when you get there, you'll understand that when you do add content from an iBook, as an example, the iBook will then give you the option to pick a specific page that you want the book open to. Or in the case of a video, you can tell the video to start 1 minute into it or 2 minutes into it. So you can give them a very specific and focused idea of where you want them to be. And that's one of the key things for a teacher, is to get students to the information as quickly as possible.